Hi, I'm Jordan Long, and today I'm going to talk about this shitty thing that folks do. It's all over the interweb. It's called Patreon, but that's a French borrowed word, learned word. The English word would be backer. It's another e-begging website out there. Say it what it is, just like GoFundMe and many others. But these folks chose to use the French borrowed word, learned word, Patreon, when it's just backer. It's folks coming on and begging for people's geld, their weir guild, whatever you want to call it. And some of these folks could really be needing it for true, for a good thing. And then the other half of them could just be doing it just to fraud others. And there's so much of haters going around and saying, oh, well, Jordan, you went on YouTube live stream yesterday, on Wednesday, and you were begging for sale of Neptune. Yeah, well, if you're going to give me shit for that, then you better go on and start giving shit for everyone on YouTube who has a Patreon, or everyone on YouTube who has GoFundMe. It's like, come on. It's like, oh, they're not making enough Weird Guild from YouTube as being a YouTube mate or something. Oh, they're not making enough from their job, whatever that job might be. Some don't even have jobs. And it's like, oh, well, you gotta help them out. They need things for their films, their farcier shows. Yeah, a lot of them, all they do is mostly just run their mouth in front of a shooter all day. What the fuck? Truly, that's all they do is get behind a shooter, like I'm doing right now, and run their mouth. They talk, they speak. And they already have a working shooter. They already have a working leaner. They have they don't need any more. But in their head, they always got to come on like this. And I hate the ones that always say, well, if you become my backer, you're going to get all kinds of films and farcier shows and shit that you ain't going to get on YouTube, or shit you're not going to see me talk about on Facebook or Twitter, or you're not going to see me put on Daily Motion or whatever, Daily Shift, Daily Drive, it should be called, or YouWatch. They make it out to be like that, and truly, why the fuck do they even, why do they even do this? It's always going to be two ways of doing things. My godmother Zena made a film way back, I think somewhere in 2017, while talking about, the shit that they do with Patreon, and someone giving her shit saying, oh, they use Patreon to go fund them to get all kinds of things for their work, unlike you who are frauding. Yeah, a lot of folks on Patreon and GoFundMe are frauders. Then there are the legitimate, then there are the true ones out there that, have a need for it. And then there are those that just bullshit, just make up shit so they can get it. It's always something like this. This is the crap you always hear from a lot of these folks. Oh, by the way, go follow me on Patreon. And if you can back me $10 or more, you're going to get all kinds of films you're not going to see on YouWatch and Daily Shift, and things you're not going to see me talk about on Twitter and Facebook. And all I'm doing is just, talking and speaking in front of the shooter. But I think you should fund me for that. Yeah, because they don't want to use their own geld if they have it. So many of these folks talk about how they make these certain amount of income from YouTube. Actually, they make it from Alphabet, through Google, through YouTube. But apparently it's not enough for them, and a lot of them got to go out and do Patreon, And I know that they're not come, and some of them probably do come on Patreon and GoFundMe and make up shit. Oh, I need this, I need that. I know you don't have to give them income. You don't have to give them any Weirgild or Gald or whatever you want to call it. But just the fact that they can, just the truth that they can go on GoFundMe and Patreon and stuff like this and do it. And then they're gonna give me shit for begging for sale of Neptune. Grow up. If you're gonna say I was wrong for me doing that, then it was wrong for them doing that too. And it's always like this. Oh, but they gotta fund me. I got a business I run. Funny, doesn't look like a business you're running. All I see is just you behind the shooter speaking and talking, and you're going to say that's a business. You're going to say that they need to fund you to keep you talking about your films or your Farseer shows or whatever you're doing. You're not a business, and if you were a business, you would be making your own gal, your own Weirgild. You wouldn't be going on Patreon saying, yeah, if you want to see me make these films, be a Patreon backer. And then you're going to give me shit for e-begging for Sailor Neptune when you go on Patreon every day and e-beg there. Yeah, let's tell the truth, Jordan says. Patreon is another e-begging website. I don't care if they're going to use the French borrowed word, learned word, Patreon. The English word is backer, and I don't care what you call it. It's still an e-begging website, just like GoFundMe is another e-begging website. Yeah, because you're coming on and you're begging for someone to give you something. It is what it is. Those websteads run on the e-begging business. I don't care what you call it. It still is what it is. And you're going to say, and you haters were going to say back in the day that it was wrong for us to do that sort of thing. Oh, he's asking for a doll. He's asking for this. He's an e-beggar. Fuck him. Yeah, and then you're going to go around and give all the on-look to all these jerks on Patreon and GoFundMe for doing the exact same thing that Dwayne did. Only the unlike is they're asking for income. They're asking for Weirgild, Gald, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of them have to come up and they're going to say shit to me. I actually had someone that told my godmother Xena one time, yeah, well, they go on and they ask for all kinds of things. They go on there and then help them support their Farseer shows and their films. Unlike you're the one that's frauding. Oh, I'm the one that's frauding. Okay? That makes no sense why you told my godmother Xena back in the day that she was the one that was frauding. She wasn't frauding. I'm not frauding. You are. You're the one going on there on your bloody films and telling everyone, go on my Patreon. And if you like what I'm talking about, give me $10 or more and I can keep on talking about it. You know what? You're not a business. No one's going to. And you know what? Do you thank anyone on Patreon? Do you give them thank you notes? Do you give them, you give them shout outs and you thank them for it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You beg, you ask them to give you Gald. Because you don't get your own Gald. Oh no, you got to use them. So you're going to give me shit for asking for Sailor Neptune. I can give you shit for Patreon and GoFundMe. Drew McIntyre. I don't really think Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre even has a Patreon or GoFundMe. I don't think he does. Anyway, the point is, this whole shit about Patreon and GoFundMe is just crap. It's just e-begging with the French borrowed word, learned word put on it. Apparently, a lot of these folks out there thought, okay, I'm going to look the other way as long as the French borrowed word, learned word was the name of the webstead. Whatever. I bet you if I went on Patreon, backer, because Patreon's a French borrowed word, learned word, the English word would be backer. If I went on GoFundMe or Give Me Weirgild or whatever you want to call it, you folks would probably run me off the webstead. You'd probably say I was evil, I was wicked, I was sinful. How dare you come on and ask me for my hard-earned Weirgild or Gald? That's what you would do. Then you'd turn around and pray. You'd go around and give onlook to someone else who did the exact same thing as you gave me shit for. So I know how it works. Fuck Patreon. Fuck GoFundMe. And all those other e-begging websteads out there. You know? And don't be giving shit to someone like me who only asks for a doll every once in a while from one of his followers on YouTube. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you later.